Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4. There is Andi Muhammad Zulfikar, Armin Damayanti, Muhammad Erik, and Rizky Ainun Sulfianti. We will explain about the 18th century literature. Okay, check it out.
The 18th century literature. The 18th century lasted from January 1st, 1701 to December 31st, 1800. The term is often used to refer into the 1700, the century between January 1st, 1700 and December 31st, 1799. The period is also known as the century of light or the century of reason. In the continental Europe, philosophers dream of a breakthrough age. Next, part 2.
Characteristic of 18th century literature. Characteristics of this period include observing human nature and nature itself, which were considered unchanging and constant. The age is also known as the neoclassical period. Writers of the time placed great emphasis on the original writing produced by classical Greek and Roman literature. The aesthetic views of literature in this era were valued in that poets and writers served the educational value of arts in the interest of the reconstruction of society. 18th century writers created enlightened political, philosophical novels, philosophical narrative, and dramatic works of a political moral nature. The ideas of humanists, liberalists, intelligence, and the reconstruction of society through the enlightenment of the people, propagated in the literature of the English Enlightenment of the 18th century, are deeply reflected in the poetry and drama of that period.
The rise of novel on 18th century era. During 18th century, the modern novel came into being and became the most important genre in literature. The novel is characterized by its realism and simplicity. The characters are not noble but middle-class characters. It is often presented as autobiographies, letters, or journals. It looks ordinary, the language is not difficult, the style is simple, all that make novel very realistic. Major 18th century English novelists are Samuel Richardson, author of the epistolary novel Pamela or Virtue Reward, Henry Fielding, who wrote Joseph Andrews and the History of Tom Jones, a Foundling, Lawrence Sterne, who published Tristram Shandy, and Oliver Goldsmith, author of The Vicar of Wakefield.
Literature, readers, and works from 18th century periods. Century. Gulliver's Travel and the Model Proposal. Jonathan Swift. The Rape of the Lock. Alexander Pope. Novels. Robinson Crusoe. Daniel Defoe. Pride and Prejudice. Jane Austen. Ivano. Walter Scott. Evelina. Franz Barney. Palms. The Rape of the Lock. Alexander Pope, Hymn to the Moon, Lady Mary Wortley Montague, The Vanity of Human Wishes, Samuel Johnson, and A Dictionary of the English Language, Samuel Johnson.